Who are you?
I am Kory Gregory, Kory Jophus Gregory from the band Prince Daddy and the Hyena.
What are your
Who are you?
passions? Oh, I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan Martin. What are my passions? Um, Music, film, um, traveling, probably some more things that I'm forgetting about. More specifically, horror films, I guess. Horror sci-fi films. Yeah, horror sci-fi stuff like that. Um, There's probably some other shit I'm forgetting about, but that's those are the most important things. Can I swear?
Of course.
Cool. All right. Cool.
Where are you from?
I am from upstate New York, Albany to be specific.
And when did you develop your passions?
Um, my dad bought me a guitar. Well, actually, before that, my dad bought me Green Day's Greatest Hits for Christmas. That was my first CD. It was like when I was in fourth grade, which I probably shouldn't have been listening to in fourth grade. There's a lot of F bombs on there. But he bought me that, and that kind of sparked the whole thing. And then a couple years later, for my birthday, he got me a cheap little guitar. And that's kind of so between like fourth and sixth grade, I'd say, is when I developed what I do. It's when I started blossoming what I have begun doing now.
And how did your passions develop to where you are now?
How as in like what did it look like, or how as in like literally how? I mean, how like it like my guitar playing skills and my songwriting skills came directly from my influences. So like I learned how to play guitar strictly from looking up guitar tabs from Weezer and Green Day and the Strokes and Nirvana and stuff like that. Obviously, other little one-offs too, but those are like, some big umbrella ones that everyone can probably relate to. And that I fall into that category as well, of like, hearing a Weezer or Green Day song and looking it up on ultimateguitar.com and figuring it out. And I learned how to play guitar through that. I learned how to write music through that. And I feel like that's kind of just, and the more I listened to those bands, the more I found other bands that inspired them. And then I learned those bands' songs and blah, 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 so on.
Why do you say you do what you do?
Uh, I don't really know anything else. It's what I know how to do. It's what fills up when I have free time. It's just where my mind goes to. When I have free time, it's what I want to do. I don't really have any like it's not like I don't really consider it like a goal or like a mission or anything, because it is a more of a luxury or a desire,
Mm-hmm.
because like even like the time that I consider work and the time that I consider like leisure time, I'm doing the same thing.
So, your solo stuff, has that been built out of quarantine? Is that more of like a desire to just keep pumping stuff out?
That definitely was a catalyst for it, but I've been kind of toying with the idea of Jophus for a second, because I want to write songs that are, I don't want to worry about sounding like something. I want to just write Kory songs,
Mm-hmm.
What comes out of Kory's brain is this, which is a solo project, whereas Prince Daddy is an entity of its own. Prince Daddy's not just Kory. So I kind of have to keep that in mind when I write a song for Prince Daddy. I have to write a Prince Daddy song, not a Kory song.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did the songs from Cosmic Thrill Seekers, did that kind of like, okay, this is gonna be Prince Daddy stuff when you're writing it, or did that feel like this is just kind of coming out of me?
I mean, it's all natural. Yeah, yeah. Even the new record, like the LP3 is it's still coming out of me. It's still just natural, but there's stuff that comes out of me naturally that sounds like Prince Daddy, and there's stuff that comes out of me naturally that doesn't.
Hmm.
So I kind of try to separate them, so then I can form two separate entities. You know,
Yeah, of course. Um,
both of them are completely natural. Like I'm not like nothing in Prince Daddy's forced at all. Like it's definitely like that shit is very real and authentic and coming out of me just as naturally as the solo stuff is. It's just that when it comes out of me, I see, oh, this fits into this or this fits into that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you kind of bring to Prince Daddy that is like taken in a complete different direction that you wouldn't normally have perceived?
One more time, what was that?
Is there anything like you'd bring to Prince Daddy that just like wasn't really like, it was taken in a completely different direction that like you would have never perceived, and that would be in like a good or a bad way?
Is there anything that was taken into Prince Daddy?
Like if you brought like a song to Prince Daddy or like a lyric or anything, and like it just got like skewed in a completely different way from like the band members' input, like the other guys, and like that was just like, oh, this isn't really like something that I can recognize as myself as much as it is like.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I feel like that a lot of what I bring to Prince Daddy is like completed demos. Like I'll bring them a demo with drums, two guitar parts, bass, and vocals.
Mhm.
So the song will essentially be done. I'll teach them the song, and then they kind of add their own little flares here and there. But like the song structure is like done by the time I bring it to them. So on that case, no. But in the production stages, when I start to get very, very, very picky and stubborn, and when like if shit starts to get lost in translation, I become kind of a, a, a control freak. I become a huge control freak in the studio when we're recording the records because I don't really have. I'm not trained in music. Like I'm not formally trained or educated. I learned by ear to play guitar, to sing, to write songs, to like as far as production stuff. So like I don't really have a vocabulary, so stuff can get lost in translation very easily in the studio because I don't have the right vocabulary to like accurately portray my like very specific vision that I have when we go into the studio. So it ends with sometimes me getting pretty frustrated, but not in a terrible way. Like no one's ever there's no fights or anything, but like I just get like very picky and stubborn and try to find a way to get my way without knowing how to get my way.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Totally, man. Like it seems like you're kind of like working through everything, like, as almost like a crash course, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And each time we go into it, my vocabulary builds and I have more of a way to express what we want. So like this time will probably be a little bit easier than last time. Last time was a little bit easier than the time before.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you have like one experience like that was like the most difficult? Like would from that theory was like the first album like the most difficult to like explain how you were feeling about what you were trying to say?
Um uh not really specific isolated incidents as much as just like trying to achieve my ultimate like I'm like a very conceptually driven writer. So when I write a song, I write it for an album. I don't just write a song. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So I kind of have this vision in my head before I kind of write the record before I write the song, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So I have this like vision in my head. So it's less about like isolated specific incidents with members of the band or the producer or the engineer or whatever, and more about just like trying to get my overall vision across to the room, you know?
Hmm.
That sounds so pretentious. I know how
No,
pretentious
no, it doesn't. Don't worry
it,
about
it,
it.
it does. It's I even to myself that sounds pretentious, but like I guess I'm just stubborn. I'm very stubborn when it comes to my music because it's kind of like I have, you know?
Of course. You don't come off as pretentious. You come off as very, genuine and heartfelt. So
Right
I hope
on,
you don't feel bad about that.
right on. Thank you.
How would you say like the message or the theme of the two albums have differed? Because I'm thinking about like how you're writing the record before you're writing the songs. Um, so with Cosmic Thrill Seekers, you must have obviously had something kind of planned out.
Oh yeah.
How would you relate that to the first record?
How would I relate the themes of the two records?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, realistically, I would call CTS a sequel
Hmm.
to the first record. Like the first record isn't like a full blown like 3-act concept record, but it is thematic in the sense that it's a snapshot of my life at the time, which was me graduating from high school, my friends going to college, and kind of feelings of abandonment and blah blah blah. And
Hmm.
then CTS is kind of the aftermath, which is kind of getting stuck in a cycle of mental health issues. And I would say Prince Daddy's discography will forever be like a movie franchise where it's like where like LP3 is kind of all right. CTS was about this ongoing cyclical mental health like pattern, right? So I think I kind of broke out of that, and I think LP3 is kind of conceptually about all right, what comes after you break out, we break free of that cycle. Like
Hmm.
what comes after that stage of your life, like you're in that cycle for like 4 years, you wrote that record and now you finally broke free of it, and here's this cathartic uh body of work that it kind of explains what happens after you're out of that. So I think an LP4 will be the next stage, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever write something that's not like narratively, chronologically, like I want everything to have its place. I want everything to be in its right place.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How has pop culture like influenced you as like a creative? Because like one of the first things that drew me to Prince Daddy was the Ninja Turtles 2 quote.
Right on. Cool. I'm glad that resonated with you. I mean, it's kind of everything. Like I like to picture my songs and stuff in like colors and stuff. Like I like to think like I mean, I definitely use specific references less now. Like on the first record, I talked about Jurassic Park. I talked about Ninja Turtles. Like I did all that. I feel like I definitely use specific pop culture references a little less. Like I name drop stuff a little less now, but it influences me just as much, if not more. Like I can't really, if I'm feeling writer's block, I'll watch a movie and then I'll go down to the studio and write a full song. I'll be ready to write a song. Like it's everything to me because like I said, like everything is kind of narratively driven for me. It's not just like, oh, I'm feeling this way. I mean, it is very personal and emotional and like driven by like my personal emotions, but it also has a narrative. And I feel like I can't be inspired narratively by my life because that would just be boring as fuck. So I need I need like different pieces of pop culture to inspire me to even to use different vocabulary. Like when I was writing CTS, like obviously that's like oh, Cosmic Thrill Seekers is like a big record about mental health, but it's filled with like the vocabulary and like metaphors of space and stuff, and that's because while I was writing, I was watching a shit ton of sci-fi movies and stuff, so my brain would jump to those metaphors to describe my mental health and stuff. So I think it's very huge, even though I talk about it less. um I name drop stuff less now. It's just as inspired by it.
What have you been watching in relation to LP3 or
uh
consuming, I should say?
Horror movies.
Oh, okay.
Lots of horror movies. Yeah.
What kind? Like what
um
specifically?
I mean, honestly, everything.
Hmm.
Like I as a genre, I love stupid horror movies, but I feel like specifically what I go to, like my comfort movies, I like dumb, campy '80s slasher movies, like Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like um, Reanimator, like just 80s horror slasher, campy stuff like that.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but when I saw you guys at the Sinclair off the CTS tour, didn't you guys walk out to the Friday the 13th
It
song?
was Halloween, the Halloween
Halloween.
song. Yeah.
Was that like a tour thing or was it just for that show?
uh I think we just did it for that. We did it for probably like 3 or 4 shows, the bigger shows. We did it for like the shows where it was like a packed crowd because we thought
Hmm.
it was pretty hype, and I think it worked.
It was awesome. So you guys got the Twitch stuff with Pictures of Vernon. Are they like close to where you guys are? Like, are you guys getting together for it, or is it like a streaming thing?
Well, actually, like I said, but I think this was before we started recording.
Hmm.
Our drummer is currently living with me for the time being, temporarily, just because why not? And our drummer is the singer of Pictures of Vernon. Yes.
Okay.
So we were just like, hey, we're doing the Twitch stream. Why don't we just do a featuring Pictures of Vernon? You can just play a bunch of Pictures of Vernon songs. So we just practiced a few songs and we did that. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you guys anticipate moving forward with the Twitch stuff?
We're gonna keep having. We're gonna keep doing music. I'm obviously gonna continue doing my acoustic stuff, playing new songs, playing old songs, taking requests. Um, we just got a capture card. Me and my homie Dom's got a capture card for my Xbox, so we're gonna maybe try and start streaming games, even though we fucking suck. We're not good gamers, but we're just like games. So we're like, why not? Maybe someone will enjoy this, you know. So if we're gonna be playing games anyways, let's throw it on, you know.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna be playing them anyways. Why not try? Why not try and entertain somebody? So we're
Yeah.
gonna do that. Keep having guests. The guests that can like actually come into the room with me are very limited here in Albany, New York, also due to the pandemic. So I have a few friends who are helping me set it up so we can do Twitch streams with guests from their own homes. So like I could play a song and then I switch off with, I don't know, like Oso Oso, or I switch off with, like, you know what I'm saying, like with just friends or like some other homies from Philly or Cali or Minneapolis. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to do that, and I think it's about to work. It's hard. Twitch is hard, man. It's a weird world. I'm just getting into Twitch, and it's much more convoluted than like live streaming on YouTube or live streaming on Instagram or something. There's a lot more that goes into it, but it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the best way for you guys to like engage with fans?
Through the pandemic or just overall?
I guess both.
Well, I mean, obviously overall playing shows and just hanging out with people afterwards, before, during, is can't really get any more intimate than that, you
Of
know.
course.
Like at the merch, like hanging at the merch table before and after a show is my favorite part. Is like on par with playing the show.
Hmm.
You know, like I love meeting new people and meeting people who appreciate what I do. That's very special to me, and it doesn't really get old. That's a huge, huge thing for me. Through the pandemic, it definitely creates a divide. Um, I mean, all there is social media, really. You know, like for us, we started a Patreon so we can like be very like transparent and be our like open selves on a Patreon. We just treat it like a fan club. Like I treat it like Green Day treated their fan club. You know what I'm saying? Like I was part of that fan club as a kid, so like I know it was like super sick to see like the behind the scenes and shit. Obviously, people don't care about us as much as Green Day, but I figure someone out there will give a shit, you know? So we started that. The Twitch thing, like there's a chat box so I can like interact with people there, post questions. I'm pretty active on all social medias. I try to answer any questions. I try to interact with people. I think that's very important for our band, especially because I feel like our appeal and what our appeal to our fans and our appeal to ourselves, like why we like being in this band and why I think people like our band is our transparency and our ability to like be grounded with people, like be eye level with people instead of being like acting, not acting, but like I don't know. I feel like we don't try to be anything but human, you know? And I think all of us have that same mind frame where it's like I think everyone who comes to our shows kind of knows that and knows like there's no reason to be nervous if you're coming to say hi to us because we're all fucking socially awkward nerds. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's really important.
Yeah. It's very important to us as a band as well.
So I know you're big on Green Day. This next question ties into it, or it doesn't. Are there any other bands that have influenced Prince Daddy that you no longer listen to?
Well, Green Day I do listen to still.
You like the new album?
The father of that one.
Yeah.
I gave it like 2 listens. I didn't hate it, but when I said I still listen to Green Day, I meant I still listen to the Green Day that I still listen to. So
Yeah,
like
the good
I,
shit.
I listen like Dookie through American Idiot at least are like I those are still in rotation constantly. I
Hmm.
love those records. Like 1994 through like that decade, 1994 through 2004, I would say that whole span is great music. Is there anyone that I don't like anymore? I mean, Weezer sucks, right? Weezer kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I have this thing that where I say like, yo, like there's no band that sucks being a fan more of than Weezer. It actually sucks being a fan of Weezer. It sucks. It's embarrassing to say you like Weezer.
Hmm.
It sucks because you're constantly disappointed. There's just so many reasons to hate Weezer, but for some reason I like Weezer and it fucking sucks. I hate myself for it.
There's just a couple albums that are just like dog shit, but there's a couple that like like I feel like I got into Weezer like when I started like getting into music and then like they'd release like a new album, like for me that was like when Green Day did like Uno Dos Tres. I was just
Right.
kind of like, oh, I'm not in the
Oh,
right era.
right. Yeah.
But when I got into Weezer, it was like they put out Everything Will Be All Right in the end, and like that was okay. And then the White Album was like that was pretty
Great.
solid,
I like those 2 records.
but then they both just went downhill.
Yeah.
You can't
But the
win.
records since then have not been great. No.
What have you been listening to recently, like modern bands?
Like Current bands. What are my
Yeah.
favorite current bands? Let me check my Spotify.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Uh, First band that comes to mind is Strange Ranger. Reppin'.
Hell yeah.
I love Strange Ranger. They're like, even as not even current, but like they are current, but like even if they weren't, like they are my band right now. I fucking love that band. Max Seal. I love Max Seal. Phony. Um, there's this band Coupons from Albany that just put out a record that's fucking amazing. Retirement Party. Just Friends. Oso Oso is Jade from Oso Oso is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. Um, it's hard. I feel like when you're constantly on tour, this question's so much easier.
Hmm.
If you have all these, like, you have all these names to choose from and shit. But now that I'm not on tour, I'm honestly not listening to a lot of new music, to be totally honest, which sucks. But
I feel that.
like, now that I'm home all the time, I'm getting into shit that's um honestly, I've been getting into like a lot of either electronic music or like orchestral music
Ooh.
with like really nerdy ass shit. like
No, spill it, man. That's
like
awesome.
like 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 I've been getting really it started with the passion for film, and I was like, how could I fuse my passion of film and music? And I was like, how would I try to get into movie scores and shit? So I've been trying to like get into orchestral music through that, and then just some electronic music. Same reason, I guess, but just like, yeah, that I just found a path, somehow found a path to weird nerdy ass electronic and hybrid orchestral music, and that's kind of been where my head's at lately. Besides, and honestly, I feel like that's been a huge part of why I'm so proud of LP3 is because it came directly from Kory's brain, because I was not listening to anything with a guitar in it even while I was writing LP3, you know?
Hmm.
So that like the influences for that were so far off from what it ended up sounding like that it's definitely our most original sounding thing. It is it's Prince Daddy. There's nothing that was baked in, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Besides obviously the stuff that I grew up with that you can't take out, but there was no direct influences because I like while I was writing it, I wasn't even listening to anything with guitars in it or even vocals usually, you know?
Hmm.
So I think LP3 was very special for that reason, and I'm super proud of it.
Is there anything you could tell me about LP3? I don't want to put any pressure on you to, spill any beans, but anything you feel comfortable talking about.
Um,
If it's under wraps, that's cool too.
I mean, no, it's not. I'm not too secretive about it. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm not like under any contracts or anything to not say anything. I'm trying to think of what I could say about it that wouldn't give away too much. I mean, it's just like I said before. I'm never gonna write a record that's not thematic, you know. So take that as you will. Um, an acid trip inspired CTS, and a car accident inspired this one. I'm gonna try to be as general as possible because not because just because I don't want to spoil anything, and I would love for people to experience it for the first time when they experience it in full. You know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have any advice to like people who are like starting bands or like musical projects now?
I mean, now uh I'm just learning how to be in a band in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
right now, it's No, I'm looking for advice as far as as far as being in a band in 2020. I am shit out of luck. Internet, man. That's all we got.
That's all we
It's
have.
it's all we got right now. In general, I mean, in a year and 2 years, however, when things go back to somewhat normal, I'd say my advice is to just say yes, 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 yes to any opportunity, regardless of how efficient it seems, regardless of how pointless it seems. Just keep saying yes, because a lot of it is being at the right place at the right time, which seems like luck, but it's not luck, because the more you say yes, the more likely you are to be in that right place at the right time. So just keep saying yes and just keep doing, doing, doing is what I say. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about like your transition from like when you were learning like tabs on guitar to like when you started like demoing and like recording yourself?
I probably started demoing and recording myself in GarageBand, which is pre-downloaded on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably like me demoing out covers of songs. Like I can vividly remember me demoing out a cover of 1251 by the Strokes. So like I feel like it was a very natural transition from like, okay, I'm learning Waiting by Green Day on guitar. I'm showing my dad, look at I can play along to this song. And then I start, pressing record and doing that on the computer. And then I'm like, once you look at it on a screen, it's like, damn, that I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at these chords on a screen. I'm looking at like, here's a drum track, here's a bass track, here's two guitar tracks. If I change the order of the notes I'm playing, I just wrote my own song.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's kind of how it started. It was just like, just take these shapes and these colors and all these like different little like patterns and structures, rearrange them. And then if you rearrange them enough, you have something that's never been created before. Started there, and then you kind of start rearranging your own colors and your own patterns and your own shapes, and then you do that again and again and again until you've kind of like sound designed your own uh voice, per se, not voice like verbal voice, like as a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you take criticism? Do you take it well or do you have a hard time with it? Has it gotten better, worse?
uh I mean, I hate it. I um I don't really know. How do I take criticism? That's a very good question. Obviously, like anybody else, I prefer when people have things positive to say about my work.
Mm-hmm.
But when people say bad shit, I hate it. But like oftentimes it'll be something that I probably agree with. Like I wish the production was better on this, or like I wish you added a third chorus to this song, or your lyrics are immature, or your voice is snot. Like I've gotten all this stuff before, so
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say more than 80% of the time the criticisms are shit. Like it's like, it sucks to hear, but like I kind of agree. So I think it's shit I need to hear in order to improve, probably. So I think I just got to suck it up. As much as it sucks, as much as it fucking sucks, man. I think I just got to suck it up and be like, all right, like I got to embrace the criticism and be like, either I agree with you and I'll improve upon that, or I disagree and I'll disregard it.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty healthy way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
How does writing lyrics for you differ from like writing melodies and like riffs?
Um, Lyrics are usually a come last kind of thing. They are usually the thing that I usually have a finished song minus lyrics, even a melody. I'll even have a melody done without lyrics, and then I'll know what I want the song to be about based on like what it sounds like and stuff. And then I'll take journal entries because I journal and I like diary and stuff. I'll take journal entries and just edit the syllables. I'll make sure the syllables are correct. I'll go to the thesaurus and find words that mean the same thing to try and fit the syllables into the melodies and stuff. And I'll just take journal entries and make them malleable enough to fit the melodies I've written for the song. That also have to do with what I've chosen the song to be about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about like when you got involved with Counterintuitive and what that was like for the band?
Yeah, that was actually pretty huge for the band. That was like our first actual label experience because the label before that was a label called Broken World Media. I don't know if you're familiar.
Did they put out the
They put out a,
cutscenes?
they put out Adult Summers first
Okay.
on
Oh,
tape on vinyl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they didn't really do anything. Like they just kind of slapped their name on it, and that's all they really did. They didn't do much, and that was our first experience with the label. So we were kind of really discouraged by that. And then we met Jake from Counterintuitive at South by Southwest, and just hit it off with him immediately. He hopped in the van, like literally the day after we met him. He asked if he could finish the tour with us, and we were like, "Yeah, hop the fuck in, dog! Like, let's do this." Like we're all getting drunk together at South by Southwest. We're like, "Why the fuck not? Just hop in. Like, doesn't matter. You're cool. You seem cool." And by the end of that tour, we signed a contract that said he'll press Adult Summers, and it was just a black and white difference. Like Broken World slapped their name on our record of our music, while Counterintuitive is fronting money for merch, like doing PR campaigns. They're doing like college radio like campaigns. They're doing like we're in a group chat together and we're scheming every day, like figuring out new fun things to do. Like it was very involved, and it was just like that dude Jake from Counterintuitive. He's like my best friend. Like he has all the info to my fucking bank account. Like he's like my personal like he's my personal manager essentially. Like he knows everything about my life. He talks to my dad just as much as I talk to my dad. Meeting Counterintuitive was like the most game. That was probably like the pivotal moment of P Daddy's success, or at least
sounds
maybe not success, but like us being content with where we were.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. That sounds like a really like gratifying moment.
it was. It was really really great.
Could you tell me about like how maybe the art has changed for P Daddy? Like, I don't know, like maybe since you signed with Counterintuitive, but like, has there been like a steady theme or anything that's really just like,
You know, we never really had a cohesive. Do you mean art as in like the graphics, the graphic art?
yeah, like I mean, like merch or like the album covers or anything like that?
Really kind of random as far as that for us. Actually, we never really had like a steady, like cohesive um line of like art direction. I don't think it's kind of just been like I don't know. I kind of am. That's not my place really. Our guitarist Cameron has been doing art for us lately, which has been awesome. He's been getting into art. and he's been doing a lot of shit for us, like a lot of social media, graphic design and stuff. And he did one shirt for us. He's been doing, but overall, I'd say it's mostly just finding an artist that we respect and whose work we like, and just being like, you want to design a shirt for us? Go for it. Like, we don't have anything in mind, just do your thing. And usually we end up being pretty happy with it, especially if we like, if it's someone we know and respect and stuff. Like, we have like a circle and a community of people at this point that we can like pick and choose from, because just through touring and stuff, we've met so many people who do all different kinds of art that um yeah, they're just people who we like to give our money to. You know what I'm saying? Who do
Absolutely.
we just trust? Like, we have a family at this point who we trust, who will just be like, yeah, just do your thing. We'll trust you. Here's some money.
This might be kind of a weird question. So, and you don't have to reference any names in particular, but like, I feel like it's easy to like, well, not easy to like, but it's more rewarding, I guess, to like the music of a band that like the people you're involved with and you're like friends with them and stuff. Have you had an experience where like you dig the person's music and then you get to know them as a person and you're not super thrilled, and it kind of ruins the music for you?
Um, that's a great question. That's a great question. And this is one of the ones that you were referring to, where I'm probably gonna have to. It's gonna be an question. I'm gonna have to think about this for a second.
Yeah,
There's
take
got
your time.
there's got to be an answer to this. Um, you know, pretty much we've been touring for, I think, 6 years, 5 years straight now. Like, pretty like 8 months a year, like straight. And I gotta say, almost I can't think of a single band we've toured with that wasn't completely hospitable and easy to talk to, and that I didn't maintain a friendship with even after the tour ended, to be totally honest. Yeah, like, I feel like it's been so honestly surprisingly positive. You'd expect to meet some shitheads, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you absolutely would expect to meet some shitheads, but I feel like overall we've managed to steer clear of most of the shitheads, and most of the bands we've toured with have maintained them, have like stuck with me as lifelong friends.
that's great, man.
Yeah.
So I followed a couple of your Spotify playlists. How do you like think about this kind of songs to play, like, or to share with fans?
It's mostly just what I'm listening to at the moment. Like if I were to release a playlist right now, people would not be listening to it. I guarantee it. People would be like, Kory, what the fuck is your deal lately? But yeah, I feel like it's mostly just like what I'm listening to. It's not very calculated or anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I saw a couple songs on there that I was like, oh, okay, good taste.
Yeah.
Like
It's just,
Summer Teeth, Wilco.
oh, that's one of my favorite bands of all time.
I love that album so much.
Dude, that album is, honestly, I don't know if you're a big Wilco fan in general.
I've been getting into him more and more, but I just can't stop coming back to that record.
Okay, that's how I feel too. I feel like people say Yankee Foxtrot is the one.
Hmm.
It's not the one.
Yeah,
Summer is the one.
yeah, I totally agree. I watched recently. It was like a documentary on like them doing that whole like Yankee Hood Cell Foxtrot
I think
album.
I watched that too. I was on YouTube or something.
Yeah, the I'm Trying to Break Your Heart.
Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't really realize that like the two guys that made Summer Teeth, like in the studio just doing it, like there was a big falling out with the like right after Yankee Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I just totally didn't realize it, but I'm
Yeah.
happy you like that record too.
I love that. I adore that record. I think it sounds so cool. All the songs are amazing, front to back. There's one hidden track like after the album ends. I don't. I think it's
Andy
called like
Floss.
Candy Floss. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That song's so cool.
Yeah,
It's not even an official part of the record, I don't think.
yeah. Did you see they're doing the big deluxe
Like,
release?
that's not on the track. Oh, are they?
Yeah, yeah. It's like a big release. I'm sorry you cut out for just a second. So I didn't hear the rest of what you were saying. No, it wasn't you. It was just like probably the connection.
Oh God, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Damn.
yeah. It's like 4 LPs, like this big thing. It's got like
Holy shit.
if you go on Spotify, they do this like alternate version of the title track, Summer Teeth, and it's like super slowed down, and
Right on.
it's crazy.
There's a live version of what's the name of the song? A Shot in the Arm.
Yeah,
There's this live version of that song that I think is so crazy. Like they turn it into a full-fledged like rock and roll song, and it's so crazy.
you're,
It's amazing.
you're gonna
They
have
do.
to link me that, man.
I will. I'll send that to you after this is over. It blew my mind. It really. It might have been the thing that sold me on Wilco was that one video of that song.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I don't want this one to stir up any bad blood or whatever, but I remember we talked a little bit on Twitter, just very briefly, about your opinions on the second Remo Drive album, and you liked it quite a bit. So
Yes.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about the third one.
Love it.
You love it.
Love it so much. Yeah. I actually, it's very funny you asked me about this. I was talking to him today about that record and about their next record and about our next record and stuff. And yeah, I think I don't quite get where people are coming from. Where I I the general consensus is not entirely positive, right?
Right.
I don't get it. I
I
really
don't
truly
either.
don't get it. I think every time they release a song, it's growth in songwriting, and I guess in a sense I do get it because their fan base is like that sounds condescending to say, but like I feel like maybe their fan base isn't growing with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they are growing as songwriters, and like as my like as a songwriter, I look at each song they release after another, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like it inspires me. Like I am inspired. Like I would consider Eric Paulson one of my favorite contemporary songwriters, like in this circle of music.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would put him in my, like my top 5, and that the third record is no exception. I think it's amazing. I think that record is really fucking good. He showed me a couple songs off the new record, and they're even better.
I
Yeah,
just feel bad for him, man. Like I don't feel bad for him because they're like a fantastic band and they're doing great work, but I feel bad for him that like it's just not connected because there's just no real answer, you know?
it's random. It's the hate is random. It seems mad random because there's shittier bands that get that don't get hate. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
There's shitty bands that blow the fuck up and don't get the hate that they do, but then these guys are releasing like really good ass motherfucking songs, like songs that are like good. Like it's hard to even like put it into words. Like they're not like it's not like yeah, they're just my taste. Like these songs are good songs. Like they're cool. Like these are awesome songs. Like it doesn't make sense. It frustrates me. Like when the second record came out and people were kind of hating on it, it discouraged me. And I didn't even write that record. So I can only imagine how much it discouraged him. Cause like, or them, because like in my head, I'm like, damn, like if they can release a record that good to people just shitting on it, like what are my chances of that happening to me? And I was getting super discouraged, and I was like, this like I don't know, do I want to be a part of this scene where like people are upset with growth? Like that seems really, no pun intended, that seems like counterintuitive. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems like you want these bands to grow. You want them to challenge themselves. You want them to explore new grounds. You want them to like discover themselves, you know? That's the fun part of watching a band grow and continue making music, not to watch them write the same record over and over again.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's just a big bummer, man. Like
I agree.
I I don't want to like put words in his mouth or anything. I just watched this like interview though that like made me feel different than how I felt, before. But it was kind of like in so many words or less, like after the reception of greatest hits, they weren't like really keen on like the crowd they were attracting, so they wanted to make like a big pivot to like try and either alienate those original fans or like go for a completely different pocket.
Right.
And I just don't know if that was communicated well or if that's a real thing, if that's something that people just feel.
Are you saying he said that? You read somewhere that he said that?
Yeah, it was like this college radio like thing on YouTube. It was like I think the fall of after
It's hard to do that, man. It's
yeah.
it's it's hard to just be like I was worried about that with CTS, honestly. I was like, okay, like I thought you'd like leaving, I curated like a group of people who were stoked for a bunch of party pop punk songs about smoking weed, eating pizza, being a loser, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like being a
Mm-hmm.
slacker. And then CTS was like this my attempt at like a grand concept album about neurodiversity and mental health. So it's like in my head, I was scared of the same thing. I thought I was alienating people too. So like it's something to be wary of, but I think it's like I said, right place, right time, and I guess it just didn't click for them. I don't know why, but I think it fucking sucks. Like I think it sucks a lot because I think those songs are like those songs inspired my songs. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
truthfully,
how,
like, truthfully, honestly, like those songs inspire the songs that I write.
yeah. That's a bummer to really think about it that way.
Yeah.
Um, so with CTS, did you guys like think of the production way of like going from song to song to song like before you guys got in the studio, or were you guys like, yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
was that hard to
I
like incorporate that into like playing those songs live?
um we can play the album front to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we can do that. We've done that before at shows.
Like
I guess.
Spankies.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we played it front to back that night. True. I guess this is gonna sound funny, but like, what the only hard part about it is like, because like we'd loved when we did the CTS tour, like the tour in support of that album. We obviously we loved coming out to "I Lost My Life," the first track on the record. So the hard part would be deciding, all right, when do we stop playing the record and start playing some old songs? You
Mm-hmm.
know, because like we can't just play the whole record through every single night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So usually we play like through act one and play some old songs, and then you know what I'm saying? Like we play through all of the first act and then start sprinkling in, a quote unquote greatest hits. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite songs or like songs that you get like the most requested from the Twitch streams?
Those would probably be two different answers.
Okay, sorry.
I can answer both though.
Go for it.
Um, my personal favorite, like what I'm most proud of, and I'm assuming you mean that's released.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's out right now. Wacky Misadventures, the last track on the record on CTS, and Cosmic Thrill Seeking Forever. Those two I'm very, very proud of. I think I always go back to those ones and listen to them. I'm like, fuck yeah, core. Hell yeah, brother, you did that one. Get requested. It's Really, the last track on I Thought You Didn't Like Leaving, and Hidden Track
Yeah. Okay.
on Adult Summers. Those are the most requested, which I'm not bummed about. I like both those songs a lot. I'm not complaining. Yeah.
Do you have any that you like really don't care to play?
Oh yeah. There's two. There's two songs that we've completely retired. Actually, three at this point. We've retired Bathtub.
Hmm.
We've retired I'm a Bum, and we've retired I Want to Die Soon off of our first demo because I want Bathtub and I'm a Bum. We retired because we just think they suck. And I Want to Die Soon we retired because our new record is essentially about the opposite of that. Our new record is kind of conceptually about the fear of death. So we feel like it kind of is contrary to where we are as a band now.
That's good. I mean, that's a good reason.
Right. Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to say Brock Chen.
No, no, no. We actually rediscovered the fact that we love playing that song. We stopped playing it for the longest time, and then we played it at practice with our new bassist, and we were all like, wait a second. This is mad fun. This is super fun to play. Yeah, we play that a lot now.
When did the new bassist come into the mix?
Um, well, their first tour was supposed to be the circus tour. So they got to play like 2 shows with us, but they came down for demo week and they recorded all the demos with us and like helped write the record. Uh the show you were at, McSpanky's, was our old bassist last show.
I remember that. That was very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Good times though.
Yeah, that was a great show. That was a fun show.
All right, man. Well, I guess we can just wrap it up. But really, really appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on here. And
Of course, I appreciate you reaching out and inviting me.
absolutely, man. It's been a thrill.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you
Appreciate
had
you.
fun. I had fun too.
Glad to hear it.